Hi, I'm Brian at Reload, Orange County Reloading Supply in Anaheim. If you're looking to improve your accuracy, one of the things you can do is you can play with the overall length. How far down you're seating that projectile into the casing, or if you want to think of it as how close the projectile is to the lands and the grooves. We always want to start with our basic load development. We're going to start with picking a bullet, we're going to pick a powder, and then we're going to maybe work our way up in perhaps 3/10 of a grain increments, doing maybe 5 different loads and figure out which one is going to group the best for us. And if we don't have what we're looking for at that point, one of the other things that we can do at this point is to start to play with overall length. Now, if you are feeding up through a box magazine, you're going to be limited by the length of the magazine. But if you're going to be feeding the gun one at a time as a single shot, you're going to the range, you're just doing some casual target shooting, or maybe you've even got a single shot, terrific. This is one of the things you can do to improve your accuracy. So what we want to do is we're going to get our overall length gauge. This is the straight ones for a bolt gun. They make a curved for an auto loader or an AR and the like. And then you've got an insert with a comparator that's going to go onto your caliper. And what you're going to do is you're going to push the projectile that you want to load into, this is what they call a modified case, and this is just screwed onto the gauge. You push the projectile onto there, and then we're going to put it into the gun, and we're going to seat it fully into the chamber, and then we've got the rod here on the back that we push the projectile up into the lands and grooves, and then we're going to set the set screw. When we withdraw it, now we can get the maximum overall length to where the projectile is touching the lands and grooves. From there, we can figure out how we want to do our experimenting to improve our accuracy. Maybe I do 3 different loads with at least 3, maybe 5 shot groups with the projectile seated 50 thousandths off of the lands, 48 thousandths off of the lands, 46 thousandths. Then maybe I do another 3 or 5 shot group of 3 different lengths at 23 thousandths, 21 thousandths, 19 thousandths. And then if you want to do yet a third one, at least a 3, maybe a 5 shot group of 3 different lengths at 7 thousandths, 5 thousandths, 3 thousandths off the lands and grooves. And by the way, we're doing this with lead core bullets. Solid copper projectiles need a bigger run. Do not push a solid copper bullet up into the lands and into the grooves. It's got to jump. So first thing we're going to do here, we're going to take the bolt out of the gun. We're going to take our gauge. Now I've got a cleaning rod here at the other end, because when I push this projectile up into the grooves, there's a tendency for it to stick a little bit sometimes. So I just give it a very light tap with the cleaning rod, and it'll get it to come right out. So I've got the projectile here into the modified case, and I'm going to push that all the way up and make sure that it's fully seated into the chamber. Now at the back of the rod here, I just push lightly with my finger, and I make sure that this is completely all the way in. Tiny little wiggle and jiggle. Set the screw. Now, take my cleaning rod, just very, very light tap. Push this all the way out, and I drop my projectile. Got it. Now, here I've got my overall length. Take that, and with my caliper, there's a notch in the gauge there so your caliper can fit into there. This goes into here. Now, I've got my overall length. This is the length I'm going to use. Now I'm going to subtract 50 thousandths, 48, 46, whatever. I'm going to set up my seater based upon this length because it's taking the measurement back here off the ogive, not off of the tip. This is going to be much more consistent. If I take this and I ding the tip a little bit, well, I just made it a little bit shorter by doing it that way. That's why I'm taking my measurement back here. So now experiment with your overall length based upon that and see how your accuracy improves. Happy reloading.